My first play. Go. My dad said choose a movie, so I looked up movie theaters in the yellow pages, and there was a theater that I'd never heard of which sounded fun, so I called it. And I got an answering machine, and it wasn't a movie theater, it was a community theater, and they were having auditions for Heidi. I left a message. Please call me. I want to audition. It was the summer my mother died, and I had never been in a play before. The next day they called me back. The show had already been cast. Later that day they called again. Peter the Goatherd had a family vacation planned for Disney World. They needed a new Peter the Goatherd and offered me the part, sight unseen. They were religious, very religious. We were always standing in circles, holding hands and praying. I spent most of my time wading in the Alps. The mountains were made of jagged sheets of painted plywood. There wasn't much for me to do until the goat arrived. It was a real living goat, and I was expected to care for it because I was Peter the Goatherd. I fed it and cleaned up its poop, and we sat patiently in the Alps together, waiting for our cues. Most of the show was very easy for us. I was nervous about lines, but had very few of them. The most challenging part of the play was a scene change, where I went into the Alps with the goat and came in the next scene without it. It was important to the director for the goat to get backstage in the transition. I said that the goat could be trusted to cross the stage in the dark on its own, but no one agreed. It was decided that I should lift the goat over my head and toss it over a railing where it would drop 6 feet into the arms of a young girl waiting below. The first couple of times weren't so bad, but over time the goat caught on. The girl and I were covered in scratches and bruises. Every night was a battle. The more times we did it, the more the goat disliked it and the harder he fought. At the end of the run, the director said it was time we all say goodbye to the goat. We never asked where it came from. It was on loan to us from a local artisanal dog food company. It was a meat goat. We'd grown attached to the meat goat, and we all agreed to pitch in money and buy its freedom. But none of us had room for a goat, so who should care for it? I was Peter the Goatherd, and it was my responsibility. We had no place for a goat, so we kept it at my grandfather's house. We chained it to a stake in the yard, and it would eat large circles into the lawn. It was happy for a few weeks. Then we got the call from my grandfather. A neighbor's dog had jumped the fence in the night and eaten the goat. All those circles, holding hands in prayer, falling on the deaf ears of a fire and brimstone god, our goat was born to be dog food.